Are you having a hard time figuring out what to get Dad for Father's Day? Shop now at sportshistorynetwork.com/row1 and save 15% off your order when you check out Row 1 Brand's Vintage Sports Pictorium Gallery. They have America's best sports art. With over 7,200 historic sports prints, you're assured to find something unique for Dad this Father's Day. If he's an NFL buff, check out the 1963 vintage NFL helmet poster. Shop now at sportshistorynetwork.com/row1.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Welcome to Hello Old Sports, the newest podcast on the Sports History Network. I'm Dan Newman, and I host the show along with my brother Andrew. Each week, we'll examine a different sports history topic: baseball, basketball, football, hockey, boxing, and anything else that comes to mind. We'll travel back to 1920 to relive the founding of the Negro Leagues and Babe Ruth's first season with the New York Yankees. Or to 1967 to recount the closing drive of the Ice Bowl between the Green Bay Packers and the Dallas Cowboys. Maybe even all the way back to 1884 and the first World Series between the Providence Grays of the National League and the New York Metropolitans of the American Association. On this podcast, we'll revisit some of the great debates in the history of sports. Brady or Manning? Russell or Wilt? Marciano or Ali? Should the Yankees have fired Casey Stengel after the 1960 World Series? Why did the Thunder trade James Harden in 2012 and break up a team that had just played in the NBA Finals? Were the Dodgers justified in leaving Brooklyn? These questions matter to us, and if they matter to you, you'll love Hello Old Sports on the Sports History Network. We also hope we can educate our listeners on some of the players, teams, and moments that aren't as well known to the average sports fan. Do you know who Tony Lazzeri is? Or Vern Mickelson? Or Emlyn Tunnell? Each of these men is a Hall of Famer in his respective sport and was considered a superstar during his career. But these names, and many others, have faded with time. You may not know who they are, but if you want to know, give a listen to Hello Old Sports on the Sports History Network. And if you do know, you'll probably find a lot to like on our new podcast. Andrew and I were born and raised in New York and are diehard Yankees, Knicks, and Giants fans. Our passion for these teams and their histories will be apparent to anybody that listens to the show, but no matter where you're from or which teams you root for, you'll find plenty to love about our show as we discuss the history of sports from throughout the country. We've also spent time living in Philadelphia, Boston, and Washington, D.C., and can attest firsthand to the passion of those cities for their teams. The other thing that we both love? A good list. Several episodes of Hello Old Sports will be devoted to our lists and rankings of various players, teams, and games from sports history. In our very first episode, we'll tell you who we think should be on the sports Mount Rushmore of various cities throughout the country. The Sports History Network is the headquarters of sports yesteryear, and we're excited to join Arnie and the team to provide our unique perspective on all things sports history. We'll be getting started over the next few weeks, and hope you'll join us for Hello Old Sports on the Sports History Network.
We here at the Sports History Network proudly partner with 26 podcasts, all revolving around the history of sports. But did you know that many of our hosts were sports history authors way before they started their shows? It's true. We've got Joe Ziemba, host of When Football Was Football, Joe Zagurski, host of Pro Football in the 1970s, Mark Morthier, host of Yesterday Sports, Tommy Phillips, host of Lombardi Memories, and Scott Adamson, co-host of From the 55-Yard Line. All these authors have many books for you to choose from. To check them out, go to our website at sportshistorynetwork.com/sportshistorybooks. Pick up your copy today. Soundtrack provided by Kevin MacLeod of filmmusic.io.